Good afternoon. Thank you for watching. This is Sirena Nereida. And this is part 2 of the full moon in Sagittarius. I had a few people go ask, what happened? There's more information, isn't there, on the personal? And of course, yes, there is. Just wanted to get it out there. And they also have requested that I bring back the tarot readings. So I thought that was very nice. Also, and even though I have the chakra videos, they still wanted me to go over it, in these videos. So please make sure you're reading the descriptions on the bottom, okay? So what's going on? Remember, we talked about with Sagittarius. Let's just review here. It's happening the full moon, and remember, we feel the effects actually all through the 2 weeks at least. Okay, already from 4 days before to the 2 weeks after, because it takes time to develop and see what's going on. And remember, Mercury is in retrograde right now in Gemini, which is the opposite sign. So there's that pull. There's a need to end something, all right? Because it's bringing back to light, seeing if this is what we really want. Now, it says bringing an ending, but if we did the chart with Mercury, we're going to see it's something beginning also. Because once we open up a vessel, once we empty it out, it leaves room to fill it in. That's how come sometimes when people do or get surgery done and they get the cancer cells taken out, since nothing is being put in that space, those cancer cells can grow again, other ones, because we all have cancer cells within us, and multiply again because it's an empty space unless we put something healthy within that area. So that's what's very important. That's why when we do energy work, it is very important that we not just shift the energy, but we're also bringing in healing, loving light. All right. And so let's go over the Sabian symbol for Sagittarius. It was happening at 11 degrees Sagittarius. And what we have is a flag. I'm looking this way in my notes. Okay, so he's like, what is she looking at there? Put up here. So, okay, it's a flag that turns into an eagle and crows. Okay, so we have a flag, and then it turns into an eagle. It's going caw, caw. How can that be? Well, very simple. We didn't really see a flag. We really didn't see an eagle. Or we're really not hearing the crow. Okay? Maybe it is something else. Because our perception deceives ourselves. A lot of times people say, so-and-so betrayed me. I was disillusioned. I can't trust them. Really, what we're saying is, I cannot trust what I am seeing. I cannot trust my own perceptions. I cannot trust my limits and boundaries. But I'm going to act like a victim and put it on them. So again, looks can be deceiving. And why? Because we're not seeing what it is. I mean, how do you think the Native Americans felt when they first saw the 3 ships of Columbus, The Niña, right? The Santa Maria and La Pinta, okay? I mean, they've never seen ships before. And all of a sudden they just see. And what did they say? Oh, we saw moving low clouds. Because all they saw were the 3 sheets to the wind, okay? And they're like moving at a speed that was different than the higher clouds. But they know it was moving towards them. So it's like, let's go tell the chief, because they weren't accustomed to that. A lot of times we want to judge something. We want to perceive. We get to know someone. We want to know what they do because right away we're creating an opinion. We are judging. And why do we do that? Because we are trying to protect ourselves going, okay, well, if they are a realtor, all they do is think of money. Or if they're a stockbroker, all they think of is money. They're probably superficial. If she's a hairdresser, she's probably a big flirt. So people are putting all these judgments and opinions. Why? Because then they're like, oh, I know how to handle myself around them and how close I'm going to allow that person to get to me because I am vulnerable and I want to protect myself. That's just something natural, the inner child in us. the victim of us, and also the controller and protector all want to, and I'm quoting characteristics from Big Mind, Big Heart. Great book, read it, okay? And those characteristics help maneuver us through life. So that way we can see, you know, am I going to just put my hand in the fire or not? Or what is going to happen if I do? You know, so that way we know how far to go and understand our own limits and boundaries. But really what we're doing is we're placing judgment on them when really what we're saying is, oh, well, she's a hairdresser, she's a big flirt. I don't know how to handle big flirts. I'm going to stay away. When really, you know, or they maybe the person is not really a flirt. They're just very friendly. Remember flirtation as a intimacy coach. I've mentioned this over and over and over again. Flirting is with the intention of getting laid. Yes, of having, you know, intercourse, sexual intercourse, because intercourse could be communication. All right. Friendly is livening up the atmosphere and just bringing in a happy, you know, context and environment. Hardly anything is being really, you know, innuendos or trying to get into someone's pants. That is the flirtation, okay? And by the way, you cannot, no one ever steals your woman or your man. No one can be stolen that didn't want to be stolen in the first place. It's an old French proverb, by the way, okay? So again, we need to remember, you know, not to judge the book by its cover, because it's really our own perception that is limited. It's very limited, our perception. If you're not worldly, if you haven't gone out, read, experienced things, how are you going to understand what is going on in that other person or what is being seen? Okay, it's the Native Americans said, don't judge thy neighbor until you've walked a mile in their moccasins, because you do not know. We do not know. But the more we experience, the more we travel, the more we read, and we open our horizons, the less fear we have. And the less fear we have is because we know how to maneuver ourselves through life and through these different situations with these different people and characteristics, and that we feel comfortable at all times and we are able to stay grounded. So if you notice that you're getting that constantly, you need to educate yourself more. You need to experience more. You need to go out there so that way you're not putting your fears and imposing your limits and boundaries upon someone else because of your own limitations. Very important, okay? Well, let's continue on. I wanted to remind you that we said that we have Mercury is retrograde in Gemini, all right? And that Neptune is also is going retrograde, okay, on the 11th, just to remind you. And that is when Mercury goes direct. So we're having a lot of confusion there. Very important there, okay? Anything else I need to mention real quickly? Yes, and we have Venus is going into Leo, which sooner or later is going to conjunct Jupiter, okay? Because Jupiter also is, didn't it go direct in, what am I doing here? Sorry, Jupiter goes direct, okay, beginning of August. So as Jupiter is going retrograde, Venus is going to meet up with them. So we have a lot of things going on. Love affairs are just like, okay, and yet they're going to be expanded and go, oh, wow, look at this, okay, and it might be, and it's going to be a romance type because Leos love romance and you know, but it's not going to be necessarily stable, okay, it'll be very, one that people really have to work through. Those earth signs are going to like that because they're used to that. They already think in their head, life is difficult. They have that perception. So that's why they attract that difficulty. And that's perhaps a lot of times why they will attract relationships during Saturn retrograde, creating even more difficult, hence fulfilling what they are focusing on. Remember, laws of attraction, we attract to us what we focus on. So if you're going to focus, say life is difficult, it has to have obstacles, well, then that's what you're going to get Okay, so remember, if you think, oh, life is easy flow, and you focus on happiness and all the positive, that is great. So, Aries, let's go now into the personal charts, okay, and the personal zodiac. And yes, I'm always eating. Nuts are good. No pun intended, you people. Okay, so by the way, did you know that there's no such thing as raw cashews? They have to, because of I I would hear, because a lot of you know that I eat most of my meals raw, and then I have one meal that's mostly protein with vegetables. That raw cashews were really bad, and then there is no such thing. And then I looked that up, and why and how it is inside. They have to open them up, the nuts, the shell, and everything with the gloves, because if not, it's almost poisonous. Very interesting for those of you know. Okay, let's go back. Okay, so Aries, all these changes, so the Sagittarius changes is happening in your ninth house, which means also the Mercury is retrograde in your third house. Your ninth house is higher education, expanding. A lot of you guys are going out and really making that effort of being, with your higher self, and going into quantum physics and even astral traveling, maybe becoming a light worker, or just learning, about the basics. I call Energy 101, Reiki Energy 101, okay? Because there's so many different modalities, and as a holistic energy therapist, and I am called that because I use more than one modality, so you're going to have that feel of expanding and understanding. And you guys have, this is something different for you, because you are now putting in the science and who you are, because Mercury is also retrograde, all right, in your third house of your neighborhood, of your siblings and cousins, and understanding the elementary. And so you're putting together those ideas of how we are energy, almost we are vibration. And a lot of times what I tell my clients when they're learning for the beginning, and perhaps this will help you too, is watch that movie with Angelina Jolie, was it Lara Croft, when they're looking for the orb, or someone stole the orb, okay? And they really have a good explanation how, the notes and that vibration creates that energy, okay? Sound. Energy comes from sound and the vibration. And that's why humans are made a certain way. Nuts are a different vibration and energy. And so you are putting all that together. Maybe this is the first time you're watching an astrology video, or you always have, but you never really thought about going more in depth. So I applaud you and I encourage you, because this is really, really good. Because now with all the medical things that are going on, I mean, goodness, we have Monsanto, Pfizer, and DuPont. They're all, those big corporations. Those are the royalties now of this planet. It's not so much kings and queens, it's corporations, all right, that the people end up dying, but they got that prestige and power, and hopefully they can use it. But really with they are controlling the GMOs, trying to control the lobbyists, so that way they can put those GMOs and not have things organic. And then that's how come, our bodies are filled with gluten and all this other, toxins. And that's why we get sick. And when we get sick, well, then we go to the doctor, they give us medicine. And then because those medicines is controlled by big corporations like Monsanto and DuPont and Pfizer, it's this circle. And you're realizing, I need to get out of this, And the best way to do it is go back to the basics, the simplicity, raw food, understanding the importance. An example, like eating nuts, very raw, going back to nature, not processed food, because then we become a higher vibration. And when we become a higher vibration, we're less dense, we're more happy, and we actually, if for no other reason, we can manifest, we can realize what we need and want in our lives faster, because we're on a higher and happier vibration, okay? And so you're taking that, Aries, and then with Venus going into Leo then, so that means all that knowledge you're also going to be in the idea of romance. And so let me just write myself a note. Did I say Leo? I'm sorry, I meant, I do mean that, but I mean Venus going into, oops, okay, in your fifth house of your romance. And so what's going on with that is now what you were looking for and needing in a relationship, you need that supported, okay? Those ideas and developments and how you're going to apply this with your children, all right? This energy. So that way they are not trapped within this corporate slave, volunteer slavery. Excuse me, throat chakra. To give ourselves that there is so much more than working and paying bills, okay? That it's not necessarily necessary, you know, to have this and that, you know, that if we take care of things, I mean, so many times I get people go, oh, you know, you got so much jewelry, you know. A lot of people don't know that a lot of it has been since, you know, collecting since I was 20. It's not like I just spent a whole bunch right then and there. But they, particular, I wear these for crystals and balancing because I'm around a lot of electronics, you know, and so I use it for the balancing and clearing. So anyway, Aries, I applaud you. Welcome to this light road, you know. Contact me so that way we can get together and we can develop your light team. And you're like, my light team? Yes, you know. Get an astrology's reading and see how you can develop yourself more in this aspect and really share it with the world, because the world needs more people who are aware of these things and are interested, okay? So thank you, thank you, thank you. Also remember, everybody, that when you're reading or listening, watching the horoscope, please, your sun sign, your moon sign, and your ascendant or your time of birth, your rising sign. Very important, those three, because you're not just your sun sign. It's only like 1/3 of the major characteristics, okay? You're also your moon sign, and you're also your ascendant sign, okay? And so, all right, Taurus, moving right along, and let me write the notes there. So, okay, here we have Taurus at 17. Is that, where is Aries? At 11. Okay. So, Taurus, here we have, where's the, everything's going on in the 8th house, okay? There's a full moon in the 8th house. So you're finally maybe paying off some bills. You have been going through a transformative period in your life, really expanding yourself, hopefully spiritually or energetically and not physically, unless you're trying to get some muscles going, okay? And you're really seeing how you fit in everything. And also because Mercury Retrograde is in your 2nd house, you've been dealing a lot with finances, how you see your morals, how this represents you. Okay, a lot of times the way we deal with our finances, what our priorities are, says a lot about our values, okay? When we are valuing and we're so needing of people, okay, and we cannot be alone, we cannot be grounded without them, that says a lot, okay? Because when you're constantly in need, you are relying on someone else for energy, and that means you yourself cannot connect with the universe. So it's very important to see what's going on and to realize too when someone is being an energetic vampire with yourself, okay? And so, I know, why do I do that? But I've always done that even while teaching. You know, mention something while I'm talking, okay? And haven't choked yet, knock on wood. So, but also you're dealing with the aspects of finances, okay, and that transformative. A lot of people don't know, but 8th house is also dealing with surgery. Okay, so maybe there's something you're taking out, you're extracting from yourself that you no longer need, which is great because then you're going to have that opportunity come the new moon, all right, for new stuff and development and education to come and fill that up and make connections. And you're going to have that more fulfilling aspect of yourself. You also have Venus going into your 4th house, which is so wonderful. So, you know, with all these changes and dealing with the moral issues, you know, and you transforming and financial, You know, it could be also that you're putting money into your home, all right, or your mother's home, and or you're also taking all those transformative ideas and your basis, because the fourth house is your actual, you know, home, but it's also your actual, not physical, but the basis of who you are. It's like the three lower chakras, okay? And so you're getting this opportunity to reevaluate what it is you need in life. What is it that just, what are your passions that just gets you going? And how can you share that, you know? How can you be a contributing member of society with your passions, but not necessarily financial? But we're saying those details and those abilities to share and encourage other people to connect within that matrix of the universe, and be that important puzzle part, because we all have a domino effect, you know? You touch one person, another one, another one, another one, another one. And it just amazes me how many people we do energetically touch. I'm watching my words there. Show me on the dolly where they touched you, you know? You see that? Okay. One day I always do that with a psychologist, so we don't want to get that. Okay. So, but it's very important and it's very helpful, and it's so meaningful how you are in touch with other people, okay? And you're a feminine sign, so a lot of feminine essence, and so your basis, you know, you're going to be there and really like cook more or enjoy home cooked meals, and you really enjoy a comfortable home, even if you're not there often, but it is a sense of pride, okay? And you're wondering, where is that connection? Which home are you there? And you know, for people who travel a lot like myself, one thing I remember with my son, to give you an example, Taurus, is he would always say, no matter where we are, mommy, you know, you always made it feel like home. And that was always so important, especially being have some Cancer in me. No, not Cancer thing, but Cancer Zodiac sign. And you know, the mommy in me is like, oh, mijo, thank you, you know, and I'm doing what I felt good. And you guys need that. You go home to that to replenish, to re-energize yourself. So you're having that opportunity of really reconnecting. And how come that's necessary? What it is that you get out by reconnecting that way, okay? So let's move on to Gemini. Okay. And Gemini, okay, we have the full moon happening in your 7th house of partnerships. Now remember, partnerships is also anyone who's involved in a contract with you. So it could be a business partnership, it could be a written contract, an oral contract, handshake, an understanding, all right? But anybody that you are in that kind of a contract, and believe it or not, someone you're going to court with is a partnership, because your open enemy, where you are seeing, you have made a contract with them, with that court order saying, I am going against you, not up to bat for you, but against you. And that is a partnership, because within a partnership, all partnerships have something in common, including open and enemies. I don't like to say enemies, but you know, people who are creating blocks or obstacles, or we are allowing, is that all those partnerships give us something very important, an opportunity to grow by seeing how we maneuver ourselves within relationships, how we ground ourselves. Are we projecting things on other people, or is it upon us? And then someone can easily say, Gemini's like, well, haven't you ever seen the movie Castaway with Tom Hanks, where he's, you know, there's no one else in the world there. So what happens if when the moon is in the full moon or new moon is in his 7th house of partnerships? Actually, he was in a major partnership, tremendous partnership with the universe, with the weather, the island itself, and understanding how he still had to grow, because he was taken out of this kind of society and put into an island where everything he's ever learned no longer applies, and it was not necessarily important. So that is an opportunity to grow, and it has to be through something else, through other energies, and that is the partnership. Okay, for some people it's going to be their pet, you know. um, so you are getting this opportunity to grow, and maybe you're seeing that one partnership in your life is not going in a certain direction. You got together, you're seeing it, you're going and especially because you know you have Mercury retrograde in your first house. You are changing, realizing, well, I thought I wanted this, but you realize you have been changing. You've been reestablishing your who you are, your needs, wants, and desires, and how you are connecting with the universe. That you're like, well, I care for that person, maybe because of the past, especially with the Mercury retrograde, but it's no longer what I need now. So you just say, thank you for the journey. I appreciate you. I value you. And a lot of times when we say, you know, oh, it's not you, it's me, that's really what we're saying is, you're a great person, but I have different needs. And I'm sorry if I misled you. Because sometimes it is, you know. Or, you know, people who have been married. I know when I was married, I love my husband tremendously. He's a good person. Yet during our marriage, I chose to go through a different journey. Do I think less of him? No, he is still the same person. But somehow I started needing something different, and he started needing something different. And, you know, it's like, thank you for the journey. You know, you are good. And sometimes one person will need something different, yet the other person isn't aware. And when we are not communicating our agendas, Gemini, all right, because we each in a relationships, you have, even if it's a business partnership, you have your individual agenda, and then they have their individual agenda, but you came together because you're going to do work together for a joint agenda. Now, sometimes the joint agenda no longer supports our personal agenda. And usually the joint agenda is because it's supporting our personal agenda. Well, then we pull away, the other person feels betrayed. And it's not necessarily that. Perhaps you didn't communicate clearly, or you didn't see it through and understand what is happening, okay? Or maybe things changed. You know, sometimes something happens and people are going, well, but there's a vow, there's a loyalty issue, wait, there was a vow to what was going on in the beginning, you know? They're like, well, so if I get poor, bankrupt, all of a sudden, well, you know, if you're coming together and that person goes bankrupt, really you allowed that to happen too. So take into consideration everything that's going on. But if the person doesn't communicate, and all of a sudden, you know, it slightly comes up from the bank, you know, they're bankrupt now. They're like, wait a minute. Then there's also the issues where there was not joint understanding, and then things can change. Also remember too that you have Venus going into your third house, Gemini. So you're having more contact with your siblings and cousins in your neighborhood, maybe taking a class, teaching a class within the community, okay? And getting an opportunity to be around more children, and a lot of reading, and taking some time out, you know, and maybe you're doing this with a partner or more with yourself, and then you happen to meet up with a partner there. And so these are wonderful opportunities that you are getting to really expand your horizons in your energetic field, and have fun with that, okay? Okay, Cancer. Cancer, this is happening in your sixth house, by the way, and that's your everyday routine. It's also your health. So how many cups of tea have you had today? And water. Make sure it's not purified water, alkalized water, spring water. Tap water is even better than purified water, okay? Very important with the health. Also, are you eating raw as much as possible? Are you eating your fruits? Okay, did you eat at least 5 cups, like, you know, servings of fruit today? At least 5, preferably 8 to 10, okay? You guys, Cancers, is very important because your digestive system, we're going to talk about health since this is happening in your health. Your digestive system, every time you tense up also your digestive systems. Are you having trouble with your shoulders? Are you having trouble with the side of your neck? Your arms? You know, you feel tingling and all that? I bet you it's because you're full of shit. Hey, I'm a Cancer. I have Cancer in me too. So I say it with being humorous to ourselves, okay? Because a lot of times when we tense up, we are not allowing the digestive system to do its part. We are tensing, and I mean, just think right now. Think of something stressful, and you don't even breathe. You're holding it, shoulders go tight, all this, and then we forget that the meridian, all right, travels all the way up there, okay, and travels here, you know. So especially if it's your thumb, why I think they say if you have a migraine, massage this area, okay, because it's your intestine meridian. And if also your migraines is probably because you're all full, okay, in your intestinal areas through, you know, all right, and then it's putting pressure on your back and your nerves, okay, and your nervous system, which then is not being able to function and work very well, okay, and that's why you get your migraines. You know, you're not having enough water and fruits and vegetables to push everything through. You probably have, who knows, 2 weeks of crap in you, especially if you haven't had at least three bowels, at least 3 bowels a day, okay, and so, you know, really consider now as a life coach, you know, and health coach, if you're having trouble there, give me a holler. I can help you out, you know, and see what's going on. But you really need, also you need to move. If you're sitting down all the time and you're just reading, I shouldn't say just because I love to read, but if you're watching movies, TVs, you're always at work sitting, you're not moving, you're not allowing that space to expand and to give it room to digest. A lot of times when people cramp, they do this. That's the worst thing you could do because you're taking that area. I thought I heard something. Taking that area and giving it less room. When you go walking after lunch, okay? Make sure you're not eating anything from a box that is pre-made, from a can, from a package, that it is as raw and fresh as possible. I could be looking because I got all my fruit here, you know. So you guys think I'm joking here. Okay. Voila. Okay. So anyway, you need that. Remember to breathe. Do the Merkaba breathing we've talked about, okay? When you're breathing in into your abdominal region, can you make yourself bloated? Shoulders relax, holding that, go all the way up, imagine that, let that air just go down your spine, all the way to your root chakra, and back up, and release it through your mouth. Okay, it's a very good Merkaba breathing. Always inhale through your nose, into your stomach, not your chest, you're not doing, no, it's into your abdominal region, okay? It's very, very important that you understand that. Do that 10 times every hour. That will help you tremendously, okay? Really it will. It's time you take control of yourself because you go, oh, I don't have time for this. You better, because you don't have time to take care of yourself. You don't have time to help anybody else. And Cancer loves to nurture other people. They love to help out other people, but you can't do that if you're half, you know, oh, I got my leg hurts, oh, my stomach, I got to be lying around, oh, I got to do that. You need to detox and cleanse everything out, okay? Oh, but it's wrong, it's selfish if I think about myself. So you're going to martyr yourself out? Cancer, you're not making sense, okay? You really need to focus on you and practice your nurturing skills on yourself before you can do it on anybody else. Otherwise, you're being energetically, you know, needy. You're going, oh, I need to do this because that's the only way I get love. How about giving yourself some love? Okay, connect with the universe. Go out for a walk in nature, all right? And that's what's wonderful about having the full moon in Sagittarius. It's about being part of nature. Stop going to the gym and inhaling other people's toxins. Stop going to the gym and paying corporations money to inhale other people's toxins. Hello. Just a perspective. Go outside, hug a tree, go swimming. Feel the nature, breathe it in, go by the lake, the beach, okay? Make sure that you have water fountains in your everyday life. You know, the sound of running water. Take a bath, okay? Make sure you're drinking your water. Remember, no purified water. Stop that bottle. Purified water. Alkalized water. This is alkalized spring water, or even tap water is better. Purified water depletes and makes it worse, so don't do that. Okay, moving right along. In Cancer, remember also to listen to your sun sign and your moon sign, okay? And contact me. You know, as a health coach, I can help you out. And as a lot of you do know that I do have one of my signs is Cancer, okay? I'm in my late 40s, and I want to share my secrets on staying healthy with you. Okay, let's continue. So, Leo. A lot of you don't know, but I also have Leo in me, okay? I'm actually born on the cusp, and I have my Mercury and Mars in Leo. I'm very Mainlik, as they would say in Eastern astrology and Vedic astrology. Okay, so Leo. We are having this change going on in our 5th house. We are having an opportunity to reevaluate the romances that we have in our life and how we deal with children. Now, certain issues are going to come up again that we thought we already dealt with last year or earlier in the year, because Mercury retrogrades in the 11th house. Okay, of our friendships. So it's creating a boomerang effect. So we thought we might have dealt with certain issues, to going, oh, I thought I talked to my partner about how I want this, how I want that, and yet now it's coming up again, okay? And you're like, oh my goodness. But there's nothing wrong, because it's maybe we didn't explain it right, or we have a better idea, or we really didn't get a, you know, tie up those fringed ends, or we forgot one little thing. So we need to understand that. Maybe if circumstances were different, we would want to be in that partnership or help that child in a certain situation. But then there's also the reality and how to balance reality with that romance part of life, okay? And with our friendships and goals, because it's boomerang. In fact, our ideas, what are our goals in our life? What you know, we wanted to do? How are we connecting with our other groups? Perhaps you're in some sport or charity groups and stuff like that, our teams, and how that fulfills our needs, wants, and desires, okay? It's very important. So go ahead, take a look at that and see that, and really see how it is you interact with your children and you're connecting with them energetically. Are you being playful? This is a very good time, Leo, to, well, one of the reasons Leo's really manifest easier is because they have that childlike innocence within them. They want to have fun and smile. They can work and still laugh, you know. You deal a lot with earth signs, and then some of those earth signs don't even want to smile. They're like, we're working. Life is serious. I'm like, you're going to die anyway. You know, might as well make it as positive as possible, okay? And so, and you guys do that. And with that laughter and all that, then you think, oh, it'd be great to do this, and then all of a sudden it happens. It's because you are sending out that vibration, because we're energetic. And when you interact more with your children and you're sending out those vibrations, when you're having fun with the kids or you're having a good time, all of a sudden think of something that you want to manifest or you want to realize in your life that you would like to change or bring forth into you, and, you know, create it. So that is the time to use that energy and really be like, yeah, really, that would be great, okay? And really to help develop, because you're having that opportunity. Also, too, is you have Venus is going into your first house, all right? So you're getting a chance where you are glowing. People are just looking at you, and they're like, whoa, you know, when Venus goes into our first house, sometimes we change something about ourselves physically on the outside, and you know, where it brings more attraction. We're feeling more from our heart chakra. When we're coming from our heart chakra, we're just opening up and we're smiling more. It just shows the biggest new accessory on you is that smile, you know, and you're giving that opportunity. People are noticing, and they see that smile not just on your mouth, but in your eyes, and it's just glowing, and they're like, woohoo, you know? And so you are just glowing with that. And then with the children and the romance, you're having a good time, you know? And so go ahead, try what's going on and see, well, you know, it might not be the same as it was before. Does it fulfill? Does it fit in your life now? And if it doesn't, well, you say thank you for the journey. I appreciate you. I had different needs, and I fulfilled those needs then. Okay? And also help, maybe you're helping children understand about romance and what's going on with their friendships, how they need to maneuver, how certain friends are good for certain incidents, situations, and then we have other friends. I know that sometimes, everybody knows I have a son, and sometimes he would be like, God, I really wish they were like my soulmate friend. And I had to explain to him, very few of us, and there are some people who have this soulmate, that does everything, that everybody, but you have to realize you really don't want a copy of yourself. If we did a compatibility with you, with yourself, astrologically and all that, how many people, it's amazing, wouldn't get along with themselves. Okay, and you would think, hey, but I know them. Yeah, we might find ourselves infuriating, frustrating, ridiculous, okay? Talks too much, doesn't talk at all. So we are actually looking for that opposite. And so sometimes what we need to do is maybe have a soulmate who can appreciate nuts with you, or wine tasting, or the soulmate who goes and does the sports with you, but you have a different soulmate who enjoys certain movies with you. You can have different kinds of soulmates or friendships. And you are very open and endearing with people, and so encouraging in that. And explain that with your children, going back to the point, because it's the fifth house, explaining that, explain that, and encourage them and say it's nothing wrong with that, and it's something very positive. Okay, Leo? All right. Let's go on to, Leo, remember, listen to your rising sign, your time of birth sign. If you're not sure, contact me. Your moon sign, besides your sun sign, okay? And I'm here for you. If you need to know how to interact with your children, or how your relationships have harmony and tension, either be it romantic or children, give me a holler. I am here, okay? So, I need pauses.